I would rather have the Marvel universe come into the zombie universe because then we get two Batistas. We get Guardians of the
Oh,
Galaxy Batista and Army Batista.
dude, what if this is just the backstory of Batista from Marvel? What if this is
Actually,
just
now
him
that you
leading?
think about it, like the super zombies did have like weird gray skin and were really strong and tough, and that's kind of what Drax looks like in Guardians of
Hmm.
the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's got that dry skin from the desert and the radiation. The
Yeah.
radiation with the zombie virus
He's
fucking
gonna
turns him
he's gonna
into
dry
a
out,
superhero.
and then Chris Pratt comes and pours a beer on him and brings him back alive because that's the lore.
That's the lore, dude. That's
And then the radiation from the nuke makes a raccoon come to life.
oh, dude, this is making too much sense. This is making way too much
All
sense.
right, from the top.
Uh, Playhouse Reviews.
Warning, this video contains in-depth movie reviews and film discussions, which include movie spoilers of key plot points and may ruin the viewing pleasure of audiences listening to this podcast who have not yet seen these films. The Playhouse Brothers highly recommend watching these films before listening to this episode to ensure your listening experience enjoyment levels are maximized. If you do not care about having movie endings spoiled, please disregard this message and proceed with listening.
Okay.
We're live. We're live
live.
streaming. We're live streaming this episode.
We're live streaming Twitch category hot tubs and pools. Hello to all our Playhouse pals out there. Welcome to another episode of Playhouse Reviews. We got a full schedule for you guys today. Today we're going to be reviewing Mainstream, Woman in the Window, and of course, Army of the Dead. But first, we want to start off this week with a Playhouse classic. This is one of my more recent Playhouse classics, which is 2009 Fired Up, directed by
Oh.
Will Gluck. So, man,
Such
what
a
do you
good
have to say
movie.
about this movie,
Dude,
James?
such a good comedy. For me, this movie kind of marks the end of like teen comedies or like kind of teen stoner comedies almost in a sense for me. Kind of like the Not Another Teen Movie vibe or some of those ones. But
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say, because this movie came out in 2009 and it was not successful. I think it like broke even on budget. But I feel like if it came out like in early 2000s, like the American Pie era and those types of movies, like it would have been a hit, because this movie is way better than those movies. But since it came out kind of towards the end of that trend, I feel like that's kind of why it flopped.
yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of the end of that era of those comedies. I mean,
Yeah.
this one, I appreciate this one more so than the American Pie or like the Sex Drive type comedies, just because this one's more clever and not as raunchy. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot
those
of
ones
kind
are
of
definitely like gross out movies, where this one actually is just jokes.
and it's like a solid PG-13 comedy. There's not really PG-13 comedies that much anymore. They're just joke after joke after joke.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this one, the dialogue is so witty and like quick humor, and it's just kind of like sexual innuendo, kind of dumb, bad pun, and like the back and forth banter between the two main characters in it is so freaking good.
Yeah, the two main characters, who are both like in their 30s playing high schoolers, just have like the greatest chemistry I've seen of like buddy chemistry in like a long time. But let me give a quick review of the plot real quick. It's basically the dumbest plot ever, and I definitely understand why people didn't want to see this when it came
Yeah.
out in theaters, because it's two football jocks and they join the cheerleading team to pick up chicks. It's like the dumbest thing ever. So like I completely understand why people wouldn't want to see this, but I feel like we just were bored one day and watched it on a hunch because we wanted to watch a comedy, and it was hilarious.
Well, I remember going in, I thought it was going to be garbage. Like, I went in thinking this is like the dumbest movie ever. It looked really stupid. Like, from the trailer, it looked kind of like a cheesy, just like poorly written bad movie. I didn't realize how self-aware it was. Like, the movie knows it's dumb and does not
Yeah.
take itself seriously at any points. Like, even when there's kind of like emotional like drama, when they're having their like falling out throughout the movie with like the love interest thing doesn't work out, it's still just banger joke after fucking hilarious joke.
I
Like,
I
it's
think
so
that's why I
good.
like this movie so much, just because it's like joke after joke after joke. Like movies, new comedies like don't have jokes. It's like something ridiculous that would never happen in real life is happening, and then like the main character is just like yelling. And that's
Yeah.
just like the most unfunny thing ever, is just like people yelling. But this one just is like literally nonstop jokes.
Yeah, and then even just like I don't know, some of the there's just really clever little bits in it. Like when they're like it plays into the cliche of like kind of typical teen movies. Like they have the asshole
Yeah.
football coach, And then the asshole football coach comes and just yells at him and is calling him like shit dicks or something the whole time. And then like as he's yelling at him, like they're not even paying attention. They're just counting how many times he says shit.
They're just like talking over him and he just like, doesn't even notice.
Yeah, it's almost like breaking the fourth wall, but they're just talking to each other instead, and like just no one around them even gives a fuck. Like, it's almost like they kind of go in their own world and have their silly banter off to the side while the events around them are happening.
Well, I mean, it is complete satire where it's like making fun of like teenage football jock movies. It's making fun of like cheerleaders. Like they even have a clip from Bring It On in it.
Yeah.
And like it's so self-aware, but just like I said, the jokes are so good and like the characters are so great. Like Dr. Rick is like the best villain I have ever seen in these types of movies.
Yeah, he plays like the same kind of like hilarious asshole guy as the boyfriend from Hot Rod, that Job plays.
Yeah. But it's just like super exaggerated. Where like in these like teen comedy movies, like the rom-coms, I guess more. There's always a character like it, but they're so exaggerated.
Well, it's like even in the kissing booth, it's like the cooler older guy, but in Fired Up, it's the cooler older guy who's in college now. He's in pre-med and he's already calling himself a doctor. Like he just thinks he's the shit. It just plays into all those tropes. What this movie does the satire so well because it's like it's self-aware of itself, but it's not like necessarily making fun of the tropes. It's using them for its own plot. It's almost like a homage to it. I feel like it appreciates those movies because it made it where it is.
And like every character is like that. Like they have like those two friends where they're the ones throwing like the big party when his dad's out of town or whatever. And then they're like just like the dumbest, stupidest football jocks like ever. And like, oh my God, it's so funny.
Mm-hmm. So even just like they're both really sad when they go back to the football party since they've already been cheerleaders for a while. Then they go and they're like, they have to like, oh, I don't want to eat all this gross, unhealthy football bro foods. And they make a salad, but they're doing like cheerleading moves to like grab stuff off the top of the cabinets and things like that. Like, it's just so like there's so many little stupid things.
It doesn't slow down because I watch a lot of like those like coming of age movies and other rom-coms, and I feel like a lot of them just kind of like stop being comedies like halfway through when they have like their emotional arc, and then it just like stops being a comedy. Like a lot of movies make that mistake, and when they market themselves as a comedy, I don't think they should do that. Even this one, when they go through like their sad arcs, they're still making jokes. They're still being funny. They're still like talking shit about each other.
Yes. Yeah, and it's just one of those movies where the plot is so dumb, but it's executed so well. Like there's so many little jokes. It's so clever. It's so like inventive with some of the things, and even some of the shots. Like from like a technical filmmaking standpoint, there's some actually pretty solid like cinematography and stuff. Like one of the scenes when they first get to the opening scene is when he throws the keys and it's like zooming in on them. There's some cool like action stuff, and then when they first get to the cheerleading camp, there's even a really long kind of like camera pan throughout all the different stuff that's happening. So like it's a well-made movie, but I don't think this director made anything else after this.
Yeah, he's done like some TV shows. I think the Peter Rabbit movie that came out a while ago.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Some kids movies, yeah.
That movie got some backlash, I think, didn't it? For some reason.
Yeah, there's like a scene where someone's like allergic to blueberries, and they like throw blueberries at him, and then like they're like, oh, now kids are gonna see this, and like if someone's allergic to them, they're gonna like attack them.
Oh man, yeah. Well, whoever the director of Fired Up is, I forget his name, but he can't.
Will Gluck.
I feel like he can't get a break then. I mean, he did Fired Up, which basically killed the teen kind of comedy era, and then he did Peter Rabbit, got backlash for the blueberry scene. But,
I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is one of the movies I've watched with director commentary, and he's like, he calls it a genre film, and he's like, don't make a genre film if you don't want commercial success.
Yeah, what's so strange with this movie? There's other comedies like this, but again, they kind of fall into like more of the raunchier stuff.
Yeah.
There's very few kind of like quick-witted humor. The only thing that comes to mind that's similar to Fired Up with its like style of dialogue and writing and the jokes is like Gilmore Girls. And that's not, I mean, it's not nearly much of a comedy. It's much more of a drama and more like female focused, obviously, for its audience. But like, it's hard to find movies that are this kind of on point with the jokes and the quick dialogue, which I really like.
No, definitely. Like just from like a writing standpoint, like the characters have their arcs. They all like learn and are successful at the end, and then like even the side characters who aren't in them that much, like they all have like personalities. They're not like bland characters, which I'm sure we're going to talk about Army of the Dead, where there's a whole hour of the movie of like the characters and there's zero development, zero personality. This one, a lot of the other like girls in the squad, they don't have a lot of screen time, but like they each have like their quirk, and it's just like it's enough where you sympathize with them.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the problems we talk about in a lot of our movie reviews. Like I think we talked about in Without Remorse, they introduce like these kind of other army guys in their squad, and then like I think they even introduce their names because they have that classic like cliche military moment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can't use our code names anymore.
Yeah.
Here's our real name. I don't. They had no defining characteristics. They were just non-relevant characters other than just like take bullets later in the movie to like raise the stakes, I guess, because they didn't want to kill the main characters. Like it's ridiculous. This movie, I mean, it's a dumb comedy, but from a character standpoint and the writing point of view, it's very well done. It's very well made.
Yeah.
Pleasantly surprised, and it's just for this the type of dumb humor that we like. That when you get a movie that's well made with these kinds of jokes, it's so rare to get a kind of bigger budget genre movie that fits our sense of humor. So, so it's a gem in my book.
I know. I feel like the only other one is like a $1 billion movie comes to mind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I like Fire as much as I love Tim and Eric. I like Fired Up more than $1 billion movie.
Yeah, I mean, $1 billion movie is great, but again, that kind of goes into like the extreme like satire, and again goes into that vulgar kind of shock humor, which I mean, I do love. Don't get me wrong, but
definitely.
And Tim and Eric's very clever with what it's poking fun of at Hollywood, and they have their brand of humor. But this one's it's almost, well, I don't want to say it's refined sense of humor, but it's like it's a different type. It's more of like writing, kind of like witty humor, in a sense. And I'm sure there's a name for it, but I'm just not well versed in the different styles of comedy.
So, speaking of poking fun at Hollywood, let's talk about our first movie, Mainstream.
Oh, yeah, directed by Gia Coppola and starring Andrew Garfield and Ethan Hawke's daughter. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It wasn't like an amazing movie, but it was entertaining, and I think it got its point across as a social commentary on like the state of influencers and social media right now. But what were your first thoughts on Mainstream?
I mean, it was a weird movie, but my first thought was it's like if a hipster wanted to make a hipster movie. That was their goal. That's what they did.
What's that Adam Sandler movie? The normal drama with him and Ben Stiller that came out on Netflix? Was it Meyerowitz Story?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, remember his daughter who went to New York art school, and then she makes that like really ridiculous art film, and it's like her just like naked and stuff doing shit. I imagine this is like the movie that she would make in real life. Anyway, sorry to cut you off. That's just
no. That's it. I'm just saying, it's like if a hipster wanted to make a really hit movie, this is the movie that they would make. Just like looking at like their outfits and like the material, the point that they're trying to make is just like the most hipster thing. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna be babysitting on an empty pool on a rooftop in downtown LA.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna wear trench coats and ride bikes. They don't drive cars anymore. She's a hipster, sold that car and rides bikes now.
Well, what's so
it wasn't
funny...
a fixed gear bike though. I was kind of disappointed in that.
It should have been. It should have been. Well, it's just so funny because like the whole point of the movie, it's like making a commentary on social media and how people are obsessed with it, but it's almost to the point of like where it's kind of mocking it because that's what Andrew Garfield stands for, and it's like becomes exploitive and where those lines blur. But like all the people who are in this movie and made this movie, they're all just like filthy rich. Like they're all Coppolas for the most part. They're all just really wealthy, well-known actors in Hollywood. So it's like, I don't know. They're probably.
Oh no, that's just what I was thinking too. It's just like all. I was like, it's got my boy Jason Schwartzman and Andrew Garfield. Johnny Knoxville has an appearance. It's like, oh man, it's got all those cool guy indie actors now.
Right, yeah. And then it even has all the real influencers and stuff in it. Like, it had a bunch. Like, was it Jake Logan or Logan Paul?
Jake
yeah, Logan
Paul.
Paul.
I get them mixed up.
Whatever. And then like Casey Frey, who's actually pretty funny. I like him, but still, and a bunch of other ones, like especially for that interview scene. But it's like they're still paying for those people to be in there. It's still kind of promoting it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like they're kind of mocking it and making a commentary, but then they're still making the movie and doing this.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like how the movie was, though, too. He's making fun of like YouTube, but he is YouTube.
Yeah, but in the movie, it's kind of clear that he's bad. Like, I think by the end of it, as a viewer, you're like, okay, what they're doing is bad, but still, everyone's in the movie's fucking doing that stuff still. So it's like, I mean, I guess how do you talk about it? But it just seemed like it kind of took away the impact for me at the end. It's like, okay, I see what they're saying. Maybe I agree. Definitely poking some prodding questions that makes you think, which I like. But from where it's coming from also is who makes the movies kind of important too. But I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed Andrew Garfield's performance.
I mean, I really like Andrew Garfield. He definitely carried the movie. I didn't really the plot wasn't anything amazing, and the other actors were kind of just like whatever.
But Jason Schwartzman was really good.
Oh yeah, he was in it. I mean,
funny.
I love everything that Jason Schwartzman's in except for Wine Country. But
He was even okay in Wine Country.
yeah, I mean,
Wine
he was
Country
the
just
only
sucked.
redeemable part. Yeah, but.
But
Dude,
yeah.
so I don't know if I'm just like disconnected from YouTube, but it seems like peak YouTube now is just like a combination of Eric Andre and Tim and Eric editing, and they just like had a baby, and that's like what their YouTube channel was in this movie.
Oh yeah, dude, that kind of bothered me. How that was one of my biggest problems with this movie was the shitty editing. Like that did not work for me. Like the fake YouTube editing was horrible. Again, to your point, it's just a worse version of Tim and Eric style editing that's been.
Is that what YouTube's
redone.
like? Like I don't know shit about YouTube anymore. But
No, it's not. It's not like that. It's
Okay,
this is literally direct. This is what like people who edit movies who and like never been on social media or watch social media think YouTube videos look like. I
Okay,
think.
that makes sense then.
Yeah, or they're just going for some weird stylistic thing similar to Eric Andre.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, maybe there was like a head nod towards the show, like especially like the talk show Andrew Garfield on. That was like, giving me hardcore like Tim and Eric vibes. But again, it's just everyone who copies Tim and Eric editing style just does it worse. So maybe we're just a little.
Well, that's how I felt too. A game show on YouTube, I feel like there's like literally no way that would ever work. But
Yeah,
I feel like they needed it. They needed it for the formula worked for what they're trying to do within the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it was stupid editing. Like it was very cringy. I think it was intentionally cringy at times, but it wasn't great.
I mean, I kind of liked the first video that they made where he was like in front of the mansion playing basketball.
Yeah.
Just because it was unbelievably stupid. But I feel like that could have been it, just that one, and I would have had enough.
Well, they did it like throughout the movie, like that one scene where she goes to the bathroom
Oh, yeah,
and
I
is
didn't
like
like
throwing
that.
up like the likes and stuff. Like that stuff just
Yeah.
kind of took me out of it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I mean, I see what they're going for. It was kind of inventive, I guess, but I don't know. It didn't work for me. It just kind of took me out of the moment. I'm like, I mean, you know me. We love all those shitty B horror movies. So if there's ever a vomit scene, we always prefer it to either be real vomit or over the top fake vomit. So. Like get one of those vomit tubes, like in Bad Trip that Eric Andre had in his sleeve. You know,
Yeah,
those are always fun.
It's easy. One thing I really liked about this, were at the very end of the movie. First of all, his dance was great at the end. His dance, that was a great
that was
dance.
ridiculous.
But then I really liked how like you thought he was gonna apologize, but then he just like doubled down on like his bullying. Whatever society bullying thing, and then just was like, "Fuck it," you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I kind of was figuring he was going to do that. There's no way he was going to give a genuine apology, especially after he got kind of confronted on the Johnny Knoxville show in the movie. Then just ended up taking a shit on the table. Yeah, dude, it's just. I mean, it was pretty accurate though with how they portray those types of like social media influencers and stuff who are like that, who get called out. Like, first person that comes to mind is like the Jordan Petersons of the world. I don't know if you're familiar with any of his stuff. He's just some Canadian psychologist who is all about like free speech and stuff. But like, he just whenever he gets confronted, he just goes and argues and then makes all these points about like, I don't care if I offended anyone. It's my words. Why would I offend anyone? You're the one offending them by limiting my speech, and like just turns it around on them. It's exactly like the same kind of rhetoric that Andrew Garfield was using.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just things. I mean, it
or
got
like
it right.
you like kind of see his thought process, but then I mean.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't mean he's right.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe there's a point somewhere in there, but he's talking more generalizations when what he did, he was being mean to one specific girl. He's just ignoring her feelings and sensitivity for like, bigger picture ideas. Which,
I feel like it's like a chicken or the egg type situation.
Yeah, well, it's just one's like theory, kind of like high level. One's like grounded in reality. So he's obviously in a disconnected, kind of made up fantasy world in his head. Where like you said, he just kind of spouts nonsense that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds good on paper, but when you put it into practical application, it kind of falls
it's
apart.
one of those things too where like it sounds good at first, but then the more he goes on, the less it makes sense. Where he's like, "Oh, you're telling little girls they have to look sexy for Jesus," but that's like them shaping their idea of beauty, and you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But then he just like keeps going and going, and you're like, okay, no, this guy's just crazy.
Yeah, and also it's like, what is his place to be? I mean, sure, there are some bad cases, but I think some people just like makeup. That's their thing. That's their hobby. Like, there's always a place for makeup. Like, yeah, that can be taken too far, but it's not his place as like a man who knows nothing about the makeup industry and shit to say that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, oh, he's kind of making like kind of a point, but then he just keeps going and it just falls apart like immediately.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's what I mean. I think it captures a lot of like those kind of almost like preachy sales guys who are, or influencers of the generation. Now the guys on YouTube giving good advice, like, oh, that makes sense. Like, people get hooked on these videos and then they follow these guys religiously and think it's like their Bible.
Well, and then too with like kids and teenagers specifically, they don't realize that like everything is staged and scripted and edited and extremely fake. I feel like
Yeah, especially now with just everyone having access to a phone to record. Yeah. Everyone could edit stuff now with free editing software. Like, anyone can get stuff on there. And then take into account all of like the big corporations like YouTube getting money funding from like political parties and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much manipulation of the media, and then the lack of media literacy for it all, and lack of just reading stuff on the internet. People can get confused pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an expert. I'm a YouTuber too. We got 19 subscribers. So,
yeah, dude, we're YouTube experts.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just try to stay off social media. It's too complicated. There's too many. I don't even know what is it, as Michael Pena said in Tom and Jerry. What's this ticky-tacky and the Instabook face? I don't know what this shit is. I just watch my movies. I just watch my movies.
I just watch movies.
I know movies make sense. There's no social media movie channels.
I'm having a hard time finding VHS these days. Took a lot of work for me to get Army of the Dead on VHS to watch this weekend, but I found it in Victorville Film Archives.
But I mean, regardless, I mean, I think the point of the movie, there was something to be said with it. It got it communicated pretty well. It wasn't too muddied. It was enough to make you think. So it accomplished what it was going for pretty well overall.
Yeah, well, I just feel like it just makes you think like, okay, maybe I should like think about what I'm consuming, maybe not be on my phone 24/7, and remember that all of this shit, all of these YouTubers have an agenda.
Yeah. They're all, at the end of the day, people making YouTube videos, except for us, just wanna make money.
Well, no, my long game is everyone's gonna get hooked on our reviews, and then they're gonna watch Fired Up, and then we're gonna get Fired Up 2 because there's going to be a resurgence of Fired Up 1 fans.
Yes, dude, if we can get a big enough following to like actually notify the director that he needs to make Fired Up 2 with all the same actors, maybe they can be in college now as like 45-year-old adults, and they're just in college now. Dude, kind of like Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
That would be the best
dream.
Case scenario. I don't even care if we never make a penny from these videos. If we get Fired Up 2, all this effort will be well worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, this was a solid indie flick, even though it was made by pretty much Hollywood, all the famous rich people. But Andrew Garfield really made the movie for me. One thing I wanted to talk about was my theory that this movie just takes place immediately after Under the Silver Lake ends. That was because we don't know much about that guy's backstory in Under the Silver Lake. And then at the end, he leaves his apartment or whatever and is living with the lady across the hall.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
He's probably going to get kicked out after that, honestly. I doubt she's going to want that piece of shit there doing nothing all day. So he's just homeless now. And then it makes sense why he's kind of crazy, because you don't know if he's like a schizo or not. And Under the Silver Lake, in this movie, he's fucking crazy too. And you learn about his background. He's like some wealthy boy who I don't know, had a mental breakdown, I guess. That was my theory.
That actually is a really good segue. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that was my theory. Made it more enjoyable. I love it when movies tie together in my brain like that.
All the actors are just the same person.
Yeah.
In and outside the movies.
Yeah. They are the actors. They're on screen. That's their real, genuine selves. So I learned something from mainstream. If you're on film, that's who you really are. Your characters you play, that's who they are.
Well, would you recommend mainstream?
Yeah, I would. I would recommend this movie. I don't know who I'd recommend it to. I feel like the very niche viewers would enjoy it, and typical movie watchers probably wouldn't care much for it. But it was well done. If you like indie movies and social commentaries, like I think you'd enjoy it. Like if you like, I guess, Harmony Korine movies, you'll probably like this one too. What about you? Would you recommend mainstream?
I feel like if it's like anyone who wants to watch a movie more than just surface level, I would recommend this movie too. Like if you want something, I mean, it's not like it's a deep movie at all, but it's not like a movie where you can just like, it's not a play on your phone and watch a movie.
Yeah, you have to pay attention and like pick up on the themes. If you're not getting the themes of this movie, you're not going to enjoy it, I don't think.
Exactly.
Because it's not like, it's like the outlandish stuff. You're just going to be like, what the fuck is this? This is so stupid. Why is he making this dumb YouTube show? But if you don't get he's mocking like comment like social media stuff and like how the internet is now, you're not going to enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like I'd recommend it to selected people who are like film or kind of into it already. Normal film viewers, probably not. But the next movie we're talking about, I probably...
Whoa! Spoiler!
Spoilers.
And
yeah.
our viewers are gonna turn off the video now because they're not gonna. They already know your recommendation.
Yeah, that's why they watch our whole movie analysis and just spoiling the movie to see if they want to watch. They want to make sure it's good and know what's coming. Dude, that's what movies should actually do now more often. Instead of just having a trailer that kind of teases you, they should just tell you the whole plot. The movie should just be the director.
A lot of trailers do.
Yeah, but they should just They should start at the ending of the movie. Just tell you exactly how it ends, explain all the key plot points, and then just show you like a 2-minute cut. Like, and Freddy Got Fingered. You know how he has like the PG version of the movie? That should just be the trailer for every movie. Just tells you exactly what happens.
Whole thing. Yeah, then you know what you're getting into. I'm pretty sure Quarantine did that. The American version of REC. The trailer is the girl getting grabbed in the darkness and like
you're right.
pulled off. That's the last scene of the movie.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty disappointing. Because I remember that did ruin it for me because I was waiting the whole time for that creepy scene. Like I knew it was coming. Like I was like, damn, that's a pretty good spooky trailer. That's gonna be. And then I was like, oh wait, this hasn't happened yet. Then like by that last scene, I'm like, oh, this is the scene. It's the end of the movie now.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hoping she would like at least get up and walk away or something, but nope, that was literally the last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
But dude, REC was pretty solid.
The Spanish one. The first two were really good, and then just the third one, the wedding one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I mean,
it's fine. And then the fourth one's really bad.
I think I watched the fourth one, but I don't.
That's the one on the boat, I think.
Oh, that one was really bad. I think I just pretty generic. I just blocked it.
I just remember the one guy gets like a speedboat engine with like the propeller on it. Like he's carrying like a big ass engine, and the whole movie, he's like halfway, he gets that, and I'm just waiting for him to use that to fucking blender a zombie, and then they don't do it. They just use it to put it on like a rowboat, and then they just sail away at the end.
Hey, you know what? Another movie that had a big cool chainsaw in it at the beginning of the movie as setup, and then didn't fucking use it at all was. Army of Darkness. Army of the Dead.
Okay, we're not there yet. Okay, wait, let's go back. Woman in the Window. I know you ruined the review, but
I could always edit it out
a little bit.
I could always edit that part out, but I probably won't.
Just beep it. Just put a
beep it.
Just put an air horn over it.
Ooh, that's actually a good little teaser. I like that idea.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Netflix's Woman in the Window, directed by Joe Wright. I feel like this movie is called Woman in the Window, but it should have been called The Narc in the Window. So what do you have to say about this movie, James?
This movie, I actually really enjoyed it, much more than I thought I would. I was expecting just kind of like a drama or kind of psychological drama. I didn't really know it was a thriller going into it because I knew nothing about it.
I thought it was just about. I thought it was a woman struggling with like mental illness is what I thought it was about.
That's exactly. But no, this movie was great. It paid homage to a lot of the old classic movies, like the Alfred Hitchcock style, Rosemary's Baby. Some of those ones, it was really well done. Some of the shots looked amazing for being filmed pretty much in one house. They were super inventive with it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's some really cool shots of like panning from room to room. It reminded me of like the intro of Hereditary.
Yeah,
with,
it's like one of those movies where
stuff.
The house felt like a character in the movie too, because it plays such an important role.
And all the styles and stuff, like it was like throwback to those '60s kind of thrillers and stuff. It looked amazing. Like it was just, I was so surprised for a Netflix movie at how good it looked. I was expecting just kind of like a normal kind of garbage, I don't know, novel cash grab, but I enjoyed it. I was pleasantly surprised.
I feel like
what about you?
It was a pretty solid movie. I didn't think it was like amazing or anything, but I was just kind of disappointed because like when I was looking at movies that came out, I saw this one and I was like, oh shit, Amy Adams, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gary Oldman, Juliana Moore. Like, this is an all-star cast, but other than Amy Adams, each one has like 2 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, I was hoping Gary Oldman would be in it more. I really like Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
he's kind of an old man now, though. Oldman's kind of an old man, so
yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, him playing like an abusive dad just seems like a great role for him. And
yeah,
then,
dude, he sold it. He did a fucking. I mean, everyone did. It was a very well acted movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it was good. I didn't particularly like any of the characters at all, but it was still an engaging plot, and I was kind of guessing the whole time. I did not see the ending coming.
yeah, no, that's because at first I thought it was going to just be like, okay, she's crazy. Then I was like, oh, maybe this is like some experimental treatment to get her to come out of the house, and they're just all paid actors fucking with her. Then I thought it was gonna be one of those like in the walls horror movies where there's the boy living in the walls, and then like the movie ended, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do want to give a spoiler warning, even though we always give a spoiler warning before we start the video, because I feel like this movie will be ruined with if you tell them what's happening at the ending. So this is the spoiler warning. We're gonna get into the ending. But to your point, it's kind of all of those things, Charlie. All the things you listed. It's psychological thriller. She is crazy. People are fucking with her. Yes, they are fucking with her because they're lying to her and deceiving her. Not the experimental treatment part.
Yeah.
But then the boy in the walls, well, that guy was living in her apartment for a week and she didn't know. So it's all of them, which was hilarious. Kind of threw them all together. I mean, there's been similar plots like this. Like, you've seen it, kind of these twist endings before where they think they're crazy and someone is a killer.
I was going to be really disappointed if it just ended with her killing herself like I thought it was. I was like, wow, that is like super weak, where they just like pull out this like car accident and then she kills herself ending. And I was really happy when it didn't go that direction.
Yeah. I didn't know how they were going to end it when she's going to kill herself. I'm like, damn, this movie's taking a really dark turn for the worst with this. But then she didn't, so I was like, oh, that's all right. And I feel like that last horror thriller sequence was really well done. Like when she got hit in the face.
I felt completely the opposite. But go on.
No, I liked it because it was exactly like those 60s, like Alfred Hitchcock, where they're kind of running, being chased around the stairs. Like, it wasn't like realistic. It was super over like dramatized. So it wasn't like typical like boom like intense horror. But it was just like those old ones, so I don't know. It felt like a homage to me. And then when she got hit in the face with the fucking
so I liked it when she got hit in the face. And at the end, she has like a tiny scratch on her cheek. It's like, okay, yeah.
But I could see why if you're expecting like a actual good, like, I mean, we watched shit like, I don't know. I'm thinking of like the Raid type. What's the other one he did? The Apostle type things with like really intense horror.
It's not even that. Not even the horror aspect. It's just my brain cells were dying. So the guy starts chasing her and they run out, and then it shows Kurt Russell's son. I forget.
David
is his name. It just shows him open his eyes like, and then grabs the guy's ankle, and then he just gets stabbed. It was so funny, just like, oh! And then he grabs his ankle, and then he gets killed. So I was like, that's incredibly stupid. And then I was expecting her to like, because I guess she's not really like leaving the house. She's going on the roof. I was expecting some type of like mental struggle to happen there, because I feel like that was like the setup of the movie. Didn't do anything with that, whatever, minor thing. But then she's on the roof, the guy's trying to stab her, she like puts up that piece of wood or whatever and she blocks it, and then the guy just disappears. Like,
he hides.
It's like a hard cut, and then it's just her, and she moves the piece of wood down, and he's just gone. I was like, that's so stupid. Like, show him just like dive in the bushes or something. Like,
no, that, to your point.
Oh, and then he tried to drown her in a puddle. Like, if there was that much water on the roof, her house would just have water damage everywhere. Like, it's so stupid drowning. Like, just put like a empty flower pot or something to drown her in, not like a fucking puddle on the floor.
Yeah, no, to your point, he was not a well organized killer, as they would say in Mindhunter. He's not organized. He's a very disorganized killer. And he was definitely trying to have a little too much fun to the point where you knew you were watching a movie. And from your point of view, I would agree. It's not very realistic. I wasn't even really on the edge of my seat for that scene. Like, I pretty much knew she wasn't gonna die.
But I just mean it was just dumb. For a movie that was like pretty grounded for most of it, and then it just kind of gets dumb at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was dumb. I think it was over dramatized. Like, I thought of it like you're watching a play. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I had a different mindset.
Yeah, maybe they had like a more serious, quick ending, and then the test audiences, or I guess not test audience, the test algorithm that Netflix programmed said it wasn't exciting enough for their robot brain, so they had to make it a little bit more flashy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it looked nice. It was well shot, but yeah, the main guy was kind of dumb. And like, obviously, it was kind of a silly ending of the guy living in there and actually being a killer. It was kind of dumb, but it didn't bother me as much as it bothered you. I could see your points though, but I think it worked with the narrative and the style of the movie. I mean, again, the main girl, she's just kind of like a stay-at-home, alcoholic, depressed, like housewife in a sense, which is almost kind of like, I feel like that's probably their target audience for this movie is like kind of older women who read like novellas and romance type books and things. So us as like big time horror goers are gonna have a much different lens, because if you don't watch horror movies all the fucking time, that sequence is probably gonna be a little intense, especially when she gets raked in the face. But since we watch horror movies every fucking day, we're desensitized to it all.
I liked it when she was watching that movie. I don't remember the black and white movie, and she just knows every line and is going along with it. That was me watching Fired Up this week by myself, just saying every line to myself.
Yeah, but I mean, the twist ending, it was dumb, but it worked well enough for me. The last action sequence, I mean, of course, I kind of wish it would have done more and been crazier, because I always want more intense. Like I want some like I Saw the Devil type thriller endings for sure. But I think with the narrative of the movie, it was enough for me.
I mean, like I said, from a plot perspective, it was fine. Just the way they executed it, I thought was dumb.
Yeah. But I think the rest of the movie being shot so well.
That's
got
fine.
a pass for me.
That's fine. But dude, so Amy Adams, like I think she's pretty generally well liked. Like everyone likes Amy Adams. Dude, I feel like she's a narc. She's a narc now.
Dude, she's a freaking narc.
Like,
Dude, the worst neighbor. Worst neighbor to have,
like she literally called the police like it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. She called the police every single day. It was every day. If you're going to be spying on people through the window, you don't want them to know that you're spying on them. So you shouldn't be calling the police so they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, she was just so certain of herself the whole time. She was so sure of herself that she knew what was going on.
I'm a doctor too, you know. I'm Dr. Steve Brule. I know things about stuff.
Yeah, well, she was pretty self-centered I mean, she got her fucking family killed because she was having an affair. So I mean, she definitely was a shitty protagonist. Like I didn't like her. Like I think that's probably the hardest part for me watching this movie. Is she's a very, very unlikable.
Well, that's where I'm torn though, because I like Amy Adams so much outside the movie, but in this, she's like not listening to her psychiatrist. She's arguing with everyone. Like that kid comes over and she just starts like analyzing him like immediately.
Yeah, dude, she was a piece of shit. But which is interesting because I don't think I've seen her in a role where you really dislike her.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it was so weird.
But I think she did a very good job. She's a great actress. So I sold this kind of like crazy like homebody Catwoman who's just a narc. Dude, she sold it well for me. She was probably one of the best parts, honestly.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But dude, she'd be the worst neighbor. She'd be the worst goddamn neighbor.
I wouldn't give her no lavender scented candle.
Dude, poor David. How the fuck did he put up with her for all that time?
I know, he was there for 3
months. What a nightmare. 3 months too long.
Yeah, he was the most likable character, and then she just narked on him and got him killed.
I don't know. He was kind of angry though. I feel like he was on the edge. He was ready to snap at any point. I was really curious what he did because he said he got in a bar fight. Did he like kill the dude he was in a bar fight with? That's what they were kind of hinting at.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
He drank a little too much Fireball whiskey, and I ended up hurting someone a little too much in that bar fight because they looked at him wrong.
I really like what's his name? I know he's Kurt Russell's son, but
I don't remember his name.
What was that zombie movie? The zombie Nazi movie he was in?
Was that Overlord? No.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I think
it was Overlord.
Yeah.
Oh, he was one of the guys in that.
Oh yeah, he was the one with like the knife in Overlord. Yeah.
You know what scene was more thrilling and more exciting to me and more like tense, and in this movie than the ending? Was when she was looking for her cat in David's room.
Oh, yeah.
Because like it was immediately after being confronted, immediately after him freaking out, she just goes down there, is going under his bed, looking through his stuff. Yeah, but it's like you already know this guy might snap and like fuck you up. Like, what are you doing?
Dude, I couldn't believe how bad the cops were at their job. They just let Gary Oldman run into her house and scream at her twice.
And then that one other lady cop who was there who just like, you're fucking crazy. Maybe you should be off your med.
Your family's dead, bitch. They're fucking dead.
Just the amount of zero sympathy she got was like, It was kind of comical. Like that's
Dude,
what I
she
mean.
was
with
sick of her shit. She called him every day.
Yeah.
She's like, "Fuck, that her house is across town. It's rush hour. I don't want to drive over."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like this movie. See, I was thinking of it as like a drama the whole time. I didn't know it was a thriller or look at it that way really at all. So I was like, oh, I kind of like these little psychological twists and things to it, like a little more thriller elements to it. But I think that's why I wasn't a slightly different lens. So I was like, oh, it's not what I was expecting because I knew nothing about it.
Yeah. So my first thought when she met the kid, I forget his name, I honestly thought it was gonna be her like bonding with like this mentally disabled kid to overcome her grief.
Dude,
like,
that's what I thought it was gonna be too. No, he's just a fucking psychopath. Dude, we should have known better because the first thing that comes out of his mouth, she's like, oh, I analyze kids. He's like school shooters and like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, he liked that. He got a little too excited when the school shooting.
Yeah. Now, I didn't think of that, but that's like a good foreshadowing right there.
No, the movie did a really good job with foreshadowing and stuff. Like,
the script was like really solid. I felt.
Yeah, well, it was based on a book, so I think that
Okay.
always helps. But I think the things now in hindsight, looking back, if I knew it was a thriller going into it, I think I would have probably had a little different of a lens. Because
I kind of enjoyed trying to like guess what was going on. Like I said, we're like, oh, is this some type of like weird experimental therapy or something?
Yeah, and it's a Netflix movie, so I feel like with that, it could literally go any direction.
Yeah.
Like, what was that one where the girl's like the violin player, that weird horror movie?
Oh, it's like Perfection.
Yeah, Perfection. What the fuck was that movie? That was like a 70s grindhouse. I thought it was gonna be like a kind of like a teen horror drama, like Split or something. But nope, it's like a grindhouse movie for the second half, and the first half is like they do that weird reverse stuff. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
movie?
that was a weird fucking movie.
So I
didn't like it when we watched it, but now thinking back, it was pretty ridiculous.
It was very ridiculous. Yeah, I remember the editing was so bad for it. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, I remember
so
it was pretty
bad.
low budget, and there's some like really bad special effects.
Well, no, I just mean like the whole reverse scene. Like they just like have something happen, and they would rewind and show it like again, like the entire scene again. I'm like, what the heck? It's silly. Oh, but yeah, I enjoyed this movie more than I wanted to.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I just needed more Gary Oldman and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yes, I agree there. I think Amy Adams was good, but as a protagonist, like she's definitely the most interesting because she's crazy. But yeah, I would have liked more interaction.
Honestly, I would have liked it if they switched. If Jennifer Jason Leigh was the main character and Amy Adams was the wife. Just because I love Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good. Or switch it up completely and just Gary Oldman and Amy Adams switch. And Gary Oldman's the crazy housewife. He just stays there and is getting kooky in the house, all locked up.
Dude, so I guess this is what happened. So you know how they said the lady who got murdered, Juliana Moore? Mm-hmm. So she was like a crackhead and like went to prison. So do you think she went to prison for having sex with a student? And then that student grows up to be Andy Samberg.
Oh.
She went to prison.
I think you're onto something.
Adam Sandler was her.
Oh, dude, what if Adam Sandler just showed up? He just showed up at the end. Oh, sorry, guys. I gotta get my wife back. She just got out of prison. Sorry. Dude, we should do that one for a Playhouse classic. That's my boy.
That's my boy.
I mean,
that's definitely a Playhouse classic.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Sandler movies. I don't like Adam Sandler, but goddamn, that movie is funny. That is my favorite of his comedies.
How much does Vanilla Ice elevate that movie?
I know, dude. That driving montage at the end where they're playing, was it Meatloaf? I think.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice. Oh my god, I was on the edge of my seat. That had to be Andy Samberg's touch that took it to the next level, or like whoever co-wrote that movie, because it was Happy Madison that produced it, but I think there was someone like it had to be Andy Samberg making it good.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have any of Adam Sandler's buddies in it, does it? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure it is a Happy Madison.
There's no Rob Schneider.
Production.
There's no Paul Blart. There's no Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, maybe they're all just dragging Adam Sandler down, but I don't know. I don't know, dude. You know who? Speaking of Rob Schneider, I really enjoyed Rob Schneider's. Well, maybe let's not say I really enjoyed it, but let's talk about Rob Schneider's new movie soon, Army of the Dead. That was a horrible execution of that joke. I think I stumbled.
The Snyder brothers.
The Rob Schneider brothers, the greatest directors of our time right now. I think Rob Schneider and Snyder, they're probably better than the Coen brothers, I'd say, for their movie quality.
I think so too.
Was Zack Snyder involved in The Hot Chick? He directed that one, right?
Yeah, he
starring Rob Snyder, directed by his brother Zack Snyder.
That was his first breakout movie. And then they followed up with Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, then Adam Sandler caught his eye, and they're like, God damn, this guy, I'm sending him straight to the top. And then that's how Zack Snyder got his Justice League deal. Adam Sandler pushed him through into Hollywood. But anyway, back to Woman in the Window. I know you weren't thrilled with the action sequence at the end, but what would you have say could have elevated this movie and made it better? What should they have done differently?
I feel like the ending definitely shouldn't have been drawn out. It should have just been more grounded. Like, I didn't like the whole chase scene on the roof and throwing him through the ceiling. It just felt like over the top for a movie that was kind of more serious for all of it.
Yeah, they definitely had fun with it. They were definitely having fun.
Yeah,
a little too much.
Like, it was weird having like that out of place chase scene.
Yeah, I feel like when movies do that, I mean, I was kind of happy because I was surprised by it, but they needed at least one other kind of thrilling sequence in it.
Yeah,
I think they kind of set the tone of expectations.
Yeah, and then the flashback scene where they're like in the car and they get in the car accident felt really out of place, and I don't know what they really could have done to make it better. But it just felt weird to me. Yeah,
that was a little strange. I feel like it wasn't necessary. But I guess it kind of covered why she felt so guilty about it, so it makes a little bit more sense in the context. But it felt really long. I feel like it could have been a shorter sequence. Yeah, that one didn't bother me as much, but it was a little out of place. But I think that's the hard part with any movies that are filmed in one location. Mm-hmm. If they have a flashback scene or something else that's not in that one location, it kind of feels out of place and a little strange.
Like, I feel like it should have been. I mean, I guess they wanted to like really like drive it home that it was her fault, but I feel like it would have been better if they were in the house arguing, and then like the dad just like grabbed the daughter and like stormed off, and then got in a car accident. Just because then it kind of sticks to everything being in the one house.
Yeah,
I feel like it would feel less out of place that way, but then I guess that doesn't really mean it's like as her fault as much, and they really wanted to go drive that home.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard because again, this one was based on a book, so in a book you really can get into the person's head and kind of explain their thoughts and feelings a lot more. So they don't have to show the car crash necessarily in the book. It can be them reflecting on it, which they're trying to do in this movie. I think it was done well when like she was being confronted by the police and was talking about it, and she was kind of visualizing the car crash. Mm-hmm. I think it was okay. I feel like they could have just had a shorter kind of like 15-second clip of them like arguing, like or something like, "Oh, I know you're cheating," and then like the car swerving. Just like a quicker flashback maybe. But then again, that was a little jarring, and then also the ending. In hindsight, I was just surprised. Like I think I did think it was kind of silly, but that's why I enjoyed it. Kind of like made me laugh, and I wasn't.
Well, it's one of those things. It wouldn't have been that bad, but the beginning of the chase scene is David like opening his eyes and grabbing, and I just thought that was so funny. It was just like so weird, and it didn't really do anything either because I was hoping he would be alive because I liked that character.
Yeah, no, I was sad that I was just sad that he was getting killed. I was hoping he'd still be alive.
Yeah,
but I think that goes back to the director's style. I don't think he's done it. Well, he did do The Darkest Hour, but I don't think he's done any like action or horror movies or serious things.
Well, I just
did he? Oh, well, he did Hannah, I guess.
Yeah. That part felt like a Netflix movie, where the rest of this movie didn't feel like a Netflix movie.
Yeah, they could have just thrown it in there. But, I mean, if it is based on a book, I'm sure that was kind of planned. And I don't know, though. In hindsight, yes, nothing actually happens from, like, a plot standpoint that kind of alludes to that thriller ending. But how the film's shot, it's shot like a straight horror movie. Like, there's a lot of those scene from scenes. There's a lot of, like, weird pans and, like, long kind of takes and, like, a lot of, like... I don't even know what I think they use like a super wide angle lens for some of it, so it shows her like isolation. So it's filmed like a horror movie. Like go ahead, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that too. Like some of the scenes where she's like running up the stairs, it like reminded me, and she's like flailing about, and she has like her long robe on. It reminded me of Possession. It's like one of my favorite movies, and I was like, oh, it looks a lot like that. And like I'm sure you've seen more like classic movies than I have.
Yeah. Well, did you see Rosemary's Baby? Because that is what it reminded me of the most. Or like Vertigo, it was kind of similar.
I've seen
to
Vertigo. Yeah.
And even like Suspiria kind of reminded me of times.
Yeah, especially with the glass thing. I thought when they fell through the ceiling, there was something was gonna get wrapped around his neck, like at the.
Well, there's just so many horror elements like that like we're alluding to it. So I was like, oh, is this a horror movie? Like, I guess it's like even Rear Window. Did you see that one? Especially with the scenes with her camera. There's another. I think that's what it's called. There's another one too where a guy's like he's like a peeping tom and he's spying on this girl with a camera, but then like a serial killer comes and tries to murder her, so he has to like end up saving her. But there's tons of shots like that were like very, very similar to this movie. So
okay, that's cool.
But yeah, no, I think that's why I liked it so much, because it's just one of those movies that's the head nod to all those classics. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's like watching all those classic movies too whenever she's like getting blackout drunk with meds and wine.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's kind of silly too. Like at the end, because when we go back and watch those '70s movies, they're kind of cheesy, and again, probably due to like budget reasons and stuff. But maybe the plot is kind of silly too. So I just took it as like, oh, it's just purposely kind of over the top. I don't know. But again, I don't know. I just like the 3-pronged like little claw to the face at the end.
Yeah, that was completely unexpected.
But yeah, I did think it was kind of silly though that the kid was actually just in their fucking house the whole time.
Yeah.
Just because it reminded me of like The Boy, just that fucking the man in the walls classic trope. But it didn't. I mean, again, it's not a perfect movie. I just feel like it was the director actually cared about this movie when he made it. Which
definitely.
I don't always get that vibe from movies.
Yeah,
there's a lot of attention
to
detail.
Said, all the acting was really good.
Yeah, great acting, attention to detail, well made, solid plot. So and Gary Oldman. So how can you go wrong? But so would you recommend this movie to anyone though?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie. It's just like a solid thriller movie, and not gonna blow you out of the water, but it's definitely an enjoyable watch. And I feel like it's very relatable because it's about a woman stuck in her house for like a year. It's just like what everyone else just did with quarantine.
Yeah,
so
very relevant.
If you're not a Trumper, watch this movie. Relate to it.
Yes, yeah, being locked in there. Yeah, I would recommend it too. It was good. It was better than I expected, and I think if you like a drama, if you like Amy Adams, it's even got some thriller elements. It's good. It's good. So now should we get into the big movie of the week?
Oh boy,
Rob Snyder's Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder.
So you know how like you go to Great America and you hop on a roller coaster and like it goes up, it's like goes up, and then you get to the top and like anticipation's building and go, and then bam, you hit the roller coaster, you go on the ride, you have a lot of fun, and then you get off the ride and you're happy, you know? This movie is you get on the roller coaster and it just goes up and up and up and up and up, and it just keeps going up, and then you have to check your watch, keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And then you finally reach the top. You're finally excited. And then it just goes down. It's like a 10-second roller coaster ride, and then it's over. That was this movie. This movie.
I don't know. For me, I wouldn't even say it's that 10-second jolt. I'd say it goes up to the top. There's like that little hump at the end, like especially if you're in the front row of the roller coaster, and it goes down a little bit. You're waiting for that drop, and then you know how you're waiting for the tail to get over the hump, so it really picks up speed. As soon as it gets over that kind of hump, it just kind of flattens out, and then you get off the ride. That's where it was for me. It was like a little bit of like ready for it, and then you get a little of excitement and a tiny like thrill, and then it's just fucking over, and you're disappointed. You're like, why'd I wait in line and wait for this fucking hill for like 2 hours? 2.5 hours. 2 hours and 31 minutes, I think, to be exact.
I know. I was playing video games, and I was like, it's midnight. I was like, I gotta watch this movie. So I get ready to watch. I'm like, fuck, 2.5 hours? I don't want to stay up till 3 a.m. watching this, so I just watched it this morning.
Yeah, well, that's why I slept in late and we were late to get started, because I was up so late watching this fucking 2.5 hour movie. Dude, I was really disappointed, though, to be perfectly frank. Like they set up so they had potential to be so fucking good. It had all the cool characters, even the intro. Like the intro opening credits sucked, but at least it introduced the characters. Like it had like, oh, the person was on like the mini turret. You know, the guy had the chainsaw, which he never fucking used.
Yeah.
What that was horrible.
And they even throw back to it a couple times too.
Yeah, multiple, a lot, like 10. There's a lot of scenes with it, but that was just hugely disappointing. And then none of them do anything. There's very little action for how long the movie is.
The coolest character is like the one like girl who who just like tags along last minute because she's friends with the like social media guy.
Yeah, with the blonde bleached hair or whatever.
No, not even her. The one with like the bandana.
No, the dude with the bleached blonde hair.
Yeah,
the red bandana girl.
Yeah, her. She was like the coolest when she fought all the zombies. She's like stabbing him in the neck and like spinning around and shooting him. That was like the coolest scene, and then she just gets killed right away.
Yeah, well, they had some good action in it, but there's so little of it.
Yeah,
there's so little of it though.
Yeah. Like it's like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Like, you know what? Like, the whole movie, I was waiting for Batista to just be, like, wrestling some fucking zombies or even wrestling the main bad zombie. He never fucking did it. He did a little bit when they're running through the casino.
He did Batista bomb that one against the wall. So that I was very happy about that, but that was it.
There was a very little of it. Like, there was, like, a scene where he was running, which was good, like, away at the end and through the casino once they get the power back on. That was cool. But, like, it was so minimal with the action. I don't understand how it had that big of a budget. Like, is Zack Snyder really that full of himself to think that, like, we care about fucking, like, an hour and a half of these characters' plot? Yeah. And for how much time they had interacting, the development is minimal.
Okay, let's start at the beginning, okay?
Okay.
Opening scene, military truck, blowjob car, big crash, zombie escapes. What did you think of that scene?
Dude, that scene was good. It was setting it up to be like a kind of silly B-horror zombie movie that's over the top, got some silly gore, got some comedy sprinkled throughout, like like what you would expect from like a cheesy zombie movie.
So I was like, okay, this is like incredibly stupid, but I was like, it's probably like poking fun at like military incompetence. Because like everyone's just like, what? They're like, run away. What? And he's like on the radio.
Yeah.
What? And I was like, oh, this is actually kind of funny. Like I hope that this is the tone of the movie. Like it's so stupid, and it was definitely way longer than it needed to be. But I was like, okay, if that's like the tone of the movie, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Well, I was reading online about that scene too. I think it took them almost like a week or like took them a really long time to film it because they wanted to film the entire thing right at dusk, right at sunset. So they had to film it for way longer than they were expecting because that's what Zack Snyder wanted to do. And you know what? When I watched it, I'm like, this is so fucking dark. Why are none of these characters front lit? Classic Snyder.
I watched it in the morning and like the blinds were closed, but like a little bit of light was getting through and like I couldn't see shit. So I had to go get a blanket and like cover up like the little crack in the blinds so I could see what the fuck was going on.
Dude, it didn't look good. Like, I don't know how they fucked that up. Like, I mean, I had that same problem with Batman vs. Superman. Justice League was fine, but Batman vs. Superman, the lighting was so dark. Like, I know that's his style, the high contrast, but, like, it doesn't add anything. And, like, why? There's no point to it. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it was very silly, though.
The car crashes and it just fucking explodes.
The explosions were ridiculous in this movie. Like, oh my God, it immediately blows up like huge. And it was funny because the front car swerves out of the one who's supposed to be protecting the payload, just swerves out of the way immediately. And it just hits the big one.
Like, if a car hit one of those trucks in real life, it would do nothing. The car would just get fucking demolished and the truck would just like barely slow down. But it explodes the payload like it's launched like 50 feet.
Yeah. Dude, see, the problem is, I think it set it up like that. Like, that was so ridiculous, so over the top and great. And then even the next, like, title sequence starts. That was super, super over the top, too.
Yeah,
extremely gory,
it was
really
so
silly.
Gory and ridiculous.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this, like, I mean, this is going to be like a homage. I was hoping, like, I know it wouldn't be as gory as, like, Dead Alive or something like that.
Yeah,
but I was
then it
it'd
even
be
played
like
Richard Cheese. So I was like, oh, is that like a Dawn of the Dead throwback right there?
Yeah, I think it was. But, like, Dawn of the Dead, it was actually like way better from a thriller. Like the pacing was so good in Dawn of the Dead. It just throws you into the action immediately.
And then Dawn of the Dead probably has like the greatest zombie, like the remake has like the greatest zombie outbreak opening of like any zombie movie ever. And this one has like the most boring opening opening ever.
Well, it's like they tried to do it with like the title sequence was good, but after the title sequence, it just gets so long and boring. Is that what you mean?
I look when they get inside Vegas, it's over an hour into the movie. So they spend an hour on these characters that like no one cares about. There's no development. The one girl is supposed to be like the love interest, I guess.
Oh yeah, her friend. They don't even do. They just tell you that at the very end, and then she gets her fucking neck snapped.
That had to be a joke, right? Like,
I was laughing. I was laughing when that happened.
So hard. Like that had to be a joke. Like that couldn't have been serious.
Well, I think there were supposed to be more jokes in it for whatever reason. I think that like a bunch of the jokes and like the raunchy gore stuff that he initially wanted to put in, he cut out for whatever reason. Like there was some comment where there was like, a running joke where there was a zombie that had like a big dick and there's a bite of his dick out or something like that. He wanted to put that in, but then like he decided to cut it because he thought it'd be too much. I think this is what that movie needed. The tone of it was super raunchy, like just B horror, but he just, again, I think he just like, no, I'm too highbrow for that. I can't put that stuff in there. And then it just kind of felt like a boring, like weird mess of a movie.
I don't know. I always think zombie movies are like so weird because zombie movies like aren't supposed to be serious. Like if you think back to the original Dawn of the Dead, there's literally a scene where bikers drive through the mall and hit zombies with pies, and that's like the gold standard is like Dawn of the Dead, and there's a scene like that. Like,
well, I mean, he did it well for like the remake of Dawn of the Dead. That got the tone perfect. I don't know what happened here, and this had way bigger budget. It's like a $90 million movie. How did they fuck it up? But anyway, I mean, some of the action scenes were good. But again, some of them were kind of like copied, like this. But we'll get to that later. Back to the intro. Let's keep it somewhat linear, I guess, in our review.
So after that, they're at like the camp, which I don't understand. Oh yeah, go on.
Before they get to the camp, sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to mention the pink fucking opening credit titles. Looked like garbage. Like that's like what our opening sequence looks like on this channel, Playhouse Reviews. Like what? I kind of get the style he was going for. Like Quentin Tarantino does it well, with, like the basic like yellow text and stuff. But this just did not look good. No, that looked like he used like Windows Movie Maker. He did like Windows Movie Maker or something. I don't know what was happening there. Whoever let him do that and made that decision, because he was director of photography and the director. So I think that was a big mistake. Whoever let them do that.
And the writer too.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, back to what you're saying. They get to the camp.
Okay, they get to the camp. So you know how in Kong versus Godzilla, whenever like 11 and Fire Fist are on, like you can just go look on your phone because they literally do nothing to contribute to the plot or the progression of the movie. Literally everything Batista's daughter and that other Greta girl is in, complete waste of time. And there's this long ass scene at this stupid camp that I don't understand the point of the camp, that you have to pay to get out of for some reason.
I think it was, so my take on this, it was just like last minute throwing it in to like make it a social commentary on the pandemic and like the border problem. I mean, that's what they were going for. But wait, so I think they were quarantined, right? That was my understanding. They were quarantined because they were in Las Vegas and they didn't want them to leave because they were afraid they'd spread the virus. Yeah. So they're all locked in that.
That was my guess, but then you have to get money to get out of it. I feel like that was like a rule. Like you had to pay $5,000.
Well, I think that's just like them paying their way, like bribing their way out. That's what was my.
I mean, that makes sense, but I don't know.
Well, they also had to pay to get in. Like they had to pay to go back in there. Like that's why the one lady went in to get her money. Why'd she want to go back in again? I kind of was like,
she was gonna break open a slot machine because slot machines have real money in them. In 2021, they have real money. You don't just swipe a card and it just fucking loads on your card. So she could get money for her kids to go to school. And it's fucking these 3 middle-aged women with baseball bats going into the fucking zombie apocalypse. Like, how fucking stupid. I hated those characters so much.
Yeah, I was watching this movie with some of my buddies.
I'm getting all worked up and sweaty right now thinking of this movie.
Yeah, dude, thank God I was watching that with other people because we were like kind of talking through some of those plot points because we were immediately like turned off. Like we didn't give a fuck about like some of the stuff. It was so boring and stupid. Like you picked up what we needed to, but yeah. So it was real bad.
No, I literally hated everything about Batista's daughter in this. Everything. She goes to look for her friend 20 minutes before the nuke goes. Like, you missed your opportunity, you dumb bitch. Like, if you wanted to run away, you had to do it earlier. You got 20 minutes. How long it's going to take 20 minutes just for the helicopter to get out of the explosion range?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was super. And you knew it was coming, too. You knew it was because they didn't do anything with that side plot. And why did the zombies keep those people locked up? Like, why didn't they murder those 2 people that went in initially?
Yeah.
Like, whether keeping them for food, what did they know that the girl was going to come back for them? Like, there was no explanation for that.
Yeah. And the door was just open when the girl finally found them at the end. They were just like in a hotel room, and she just like opened the door.
Were they just hiding because they were scared to leave? That was my take.
I guess, but I mean, it's still.
Did she even save them? Did they even get on the helicopter? Didn't they all die anyway?
The one got on the helicopter.
Did she die though?
I guess she died in the crash because after it crashed, they don't show her ever.
Yeah, there's no epilogue for her. It just shows her, like the daughter and Batista talking, and then it's over. So I don't think anyone lived except the daughter. So she got everyone killed unnecessarily. And she ended up leading them to get she ended up getting the black guy out because he got bitten to spread the virus even more. So now she probably just doomed the whole world because she was stupid. Batista knew not to bring her from the beginning. That's what they were saying. He should have trusted his gut. But anyway, we're getting the camp scene was a waste. It was a complete throwaway.
Okay, so then they go and gathering the team. Classic Zack Snyder loves gathering the team. So we just get all of these pointless scenes of these pointless characters that have no lines. It's like Suicide Squad, where everyone has their little introduction. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't like make you. I guess the German guy was kind of interesting. Like he was like the comic relief guy, and he was the most interesting.
Well, Tig was supposed to be comic relief too, but all of her stuff felt out of place. The helicopter driver.
Oh, so speaking of that. So I just happened to stumble on an article, and that actress was digitally added in the movie post-production because the original actor, I don't know who he was, got a bunch of sexual allegations against him. So they just edited her in last minute to all the other scenes. So any of the scenes with her that fell out of place.
Well, that's why it didn't work.
That's why, yeah.
I mean, I didn't notice, so good on them. Good job with the special effects. Maybe that's why it cost an extra few $1 million.
How much did they spend on Superman's mustache and the Justice League?
Yeah, right.
So that's what that is. But like all the characters, like none of them have any personality. None of them have any traits. They're just
they had more traits than like Justice League. I thought. I think they set it up fine. Like the German guy was kind of like a weird into locks and stuff. Yeah. At least like the love interest girl from the original crew, she was kind of like a badass, I guess. The black guy was kind of like a straight guy. She didn't do anything, but they set it up like she was going to. Like,
okay.
With these introductions, it had potential. Like for a zombie setup, I think it was fine. They had enough defining characteristics,
they just
more
missed
so
all
than
the
Justice
opportunities.
They just didn't do anything with it once they introduced them, and then that was it. That was flat, and it didn't matter to the plot at all.
So
later.
yeah. So like I was waiting. So the YouTube guy, I really liked him as far as like this character goes. I was definitely waiting for him to like take a selfie and get bit.
Yeah.
Like I was waiting for that the whole time. Nothing happened. Nothing other than when they first get there. Nothing they set up mattered at all.
Dude, there's so many missed opportunities.
Were you waiting for it to rain and the zombies come back alive?
So, I was actually, but they
didn't
do it. Dude, and then they had that whole thing with the fetus and like it was like glowing blue and stuff. Like
I
trying to raise a zombie. There was a whole subplot I feel like of like the zombie like society that they just cut out of the movie.
Because when
I think
they were like in the vault shooting them, some of them when they got shot, blue stuff would come out. I noticed, but. Yeah,
it's again like it's just like, these things that were like not described or fleshed out enough.
I laughed really hard when he pulled out the zombie fetus. I thought that was hilarious.
And I don't know, another thing too, when they were still at the assembling the crew bit, like that was fine. It was longer than it needed to be for sure, but I think it was still like at that point I was still sold on the movie. I'm like, okay, this is fine for a zombie introducing the characters. This is great. They all get killed. It's enough to kind of care about them when they die. But from that point of introducing them to when they go into the wall to the end of the movie, I just stopped caring. Like they were just didn't do it. They weren't even in it. Like there wasn't enough screen time. They didn't I don't know what happened, but
because they just focused on Batista and his daughter, which was like the worst plot of the movie by far.
Yeah, dude, the black guy and the German dude, they had the most interesting dynamic with each other.
They were the only ones that had any dynamic.
Yeah, they were the only ones that felt like interacting. I mean, Batista, he's a great wrestler, probably not the best actor, but they probably could have cut out like half the dialogue with him and his daughter.
And they didn't even play up to his strengths. Like there was that one scene where he like kicked the table and it knocked over like 20 zombies. I thought that was cool. But then at the end of the movie, the mattress was blocking the door and he couldn't lift it. I'm like, dude, it's fucking Batista. He would just fucking throw that thing 100 feet.
Dude, he should have just ran through the wall.
Yeah.
Not even used the door.
Yeah, just spear it.
Yeah, so he did do some cool wrestling moves on the zombies, but I feel like they underutilized him. Like,
there was one scene, where he wrestled the zombies.
And that was at the end when he was running through. But anyway, before we get on into that bit, okay, from a plot point of view, they assemble the crew, they take they take them across the wall, and then they're like, oh, we have to use this one shitty border patrol guy, shoot him in the leg, and use him as like an offering to the alpha zombie. Okay, that's fine. But then the one CIA guy, because at the end of the movie, they get all the fucking money, and then he's like, oh, the head's more valuable. The head's way more valuable. That's what we need. Why the fuck didn't they just attack the zombie and then capture the girl right there at the beginning? They just had to shoot her with that little like claw thing. They were at the border. They could have grabbed her and just left immediately. That was the whole point.
Well,
Why'd they do any of the mission? They
Dude,
were
nothing-
there. They could have grabbed her and gotten out.
No, exactly. Nothing in this
What?
makes sense. So, like, the Scorpion, Mortal Kombat Scorpion, sent another team before him, like before the Batista team. So I'm assuming there's like a one guy on that team too. So if there's a whole bunch of like the one guy watching him, why didn't he just send all of like the one extra guys go just to get the zombie and ignore the money?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess getting in there was the challenging part, but why'd they need such a big crew of people? Like, I mean, was he still trying to get the money? Was he just super greedy, so he wanted the money and the zombie
honestly,
head?
200 million didn't even seem like that much to me, honestly. Like, after they split it, 15 million, like...
Yeah, well, I think the idea was they're all going to get killed and die, and they had nothing going for them, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just so dumb. And did they even do anything after, like, at the epilogue with the head Japanese guy who was, like, organizing the whole
No, he was just sitting
thing?
on the couch looking sad. They showed.
Yeah, so they had no punishment for him. He was like, "Oh, I didn't get my money." Boo boo. Like, is that just the end? Like, was this movie just felt like it was set up for a sequel? Honestly, like, I don't know. It was
Yeah.
just so strange. I don't know. Anyway, it was like a complete waste. They could have just taken the zombie head out at the beginning and been done with it. Okay. Anyway, I did like the zombie tiger though. That was pretty cool.
But I feel like that was another missed opportunity. Like, it killed the one guy, but I wanted to see Batista tackle the tiger. Like, it killed the guy, but that was like the boss that they didn't fight ever.
Yeah, they did that. All the boss fights were disappointing.
Dude, it was so cool when the main zombie speared the girl, though.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really the boss fight because I was waiting. All right, I guess we're just gonna go kind of into the ending now since we're already there. But anyway, she gets speared. I was waiting for Batista and the head zombie alpha guy to actually face off.
Yeah.
Like have like a big kind of dramatic fight where they're like punching each other, throwing each other against walls. Like that was like the buildup.
Yeah,
that was
because
the whole
they
setup.
set it up like he beat up like the black guy with so like, oh shit, you know this guy's strong. But I mean, Batista's way more
Yeah.
jacked than
Exactly. Oh my god, I was so disappointing. So
yeah, I feel like that would have been so cool to see them wrestle. Yeah.
and didn't they even not kill him? They just left him on the roof, and then the nuke blew him up, right?
No. He
main
jumped
zombie?
they jumped in the helicopter.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's why they
Batista-
crashed.
and
That's why they
shot,
crashed.
Yeah, they shot his head. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain. I was turning off my brain. I was very frustrated.
Well,
by
I
the
mean,
end
when
of it,
when the
so.
zombie jumped in the helicopter, I knew it was going to be a disappointing action scene because, like, how can you do a cool action scene of like people fighting inside a helicopter? Like,
Yeah, maybe Gareth Evans could figure it out for the director of The Raid because he did that really cool car fight scene
Yeah.
in The Raid 2. If he directed that one helicopter fight, that would have been sick.
I think the movie should have just gone like full ridiculousness, and then like the zombie like tackles Batista through like the ceiling, and they fall into like an MMA arena, and then they just are in this like MMA arena fighting each other. Now,
I mean, that's what they did in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
at the
that's what
end.
they should have done in this. It would have been perfect.
They underutilized him. He like why cast this big wrestling star and like a big action dude and not like only have him do cool stuff for like a handful of scenes.
Yeah.
It's a 2.5 hour long movie. They had a lot of opportunities for how long it was. It felt so boring. Like it was so boring. Like they had the main opening scene, which got me so hyped up. Like it was so over the top. They even had that
that's
scene.
what I'm saying. So like all of the character deaths. First of all, you knew it was coming because every time it did slow motion and sad music. So other than the one girl whose head got turned around, like you knew someone was gonna die before.
Yeah.
And like a lot of them weren't that exciting. But the opening scene when it shows like that lady with the mohawk like working with them, and then she doesn't make it outside the border before they close the fence and she gets smushed.
Yeah.
That was like the saddest death in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
and there's no dialogue or anything. It's just like these montages, and I was like, this montage has I have more emotional connection with this lady with no lines, only in montages, than any of the other characters in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, dude, that should have been the movie. Like I get that it was just kind of like setting the stage, but why was that was way more exciting. It would have been a way cooler movie of the outbreak in Vegas and then
Yeah.
that crew trying to save them. Like,
I really
oh
liked
my god.
the scene where like the one military guy was like fighting him, but he got overwhelmed, so he just like lit the flare, and then they like knew to bomb that area. I thought that was like a really cool scene, and like imagine if that was part of the movie, like he was an important character,
Yeah.
and then he was fighting the zombies, and you're just like, fuck it, we lost. I'm gonna blow myself up to kill these zombies too. Like that would have been like a good emotional thing. Instead, you just get fucking bleached hair guy, and he just gets overwhelmed.
He doesn't even do anything. Does he do a single thing in the whole movie besides just like bring his like girlfriend in to get killed? Like that scene was kind of cool, but
yeah, the girlfriend was cool. He didn't do shit.
Yeah, and speaking of so that scene where they're going through the sleeping zombies, that they just stole that from Silent Hill. Yeah. That's just Silent Hill. That's exactly the same with the nurses.
Dude, and honestly, how fucking stupid is the girl to go the wrong way? Like Batista is like 3 of her. It's like 3 of her stacked on top of each other. So she's like crawling through these skinny ones because that's where the glow stick is.
Yeah.
But like, how is Batista gonna fit? He's like 3 of her.
I know. That was silly. And then she would have been fine. And then she had her opportunity to say, "I'm dead because this guy screwed me over." Like at the end, when
they
she's like,
definitely could have helped her too. They had like a full 10 seconds to start shooting.
Yeah, they didn't even try to help her. Oh my god, it was so infuriating. Oh, there was another scene where like it was super. Yeah, when they were at the end when they're jumping on the helicopter, when when the daughter and Batista get to the helicopter on the roof, and then like, "Oh, you didn't leave us. You're here." Then they look, and then they're like chatting. They have like it's like a minute of dialogue of them waiting, and then of course they wait until the alpha gets up there. Then they decide to leave. Why didn't they just? The nuke is coming. They probably had like 2 minutes before the nuke comes. The zombies chasing them. Why wouldn't they just get on the helicopter and get the fuck out as quickly as possible?
Well, what do you think the blonde girl's plan was? She was like, "I'll catch up. I got a plan," and then she just gets speared. What was her plan? Get another helicopter?
Yeah, well, she I don't even think she had maybe had 2 lines of interactions with Batista. Why did she sacrifice herself to save Batista? She was already kind of screwing them over by trying to take the money and get the zombie head with the other guy. So she knew that she was tricking them to get money, but then she just decides to be good to help Batista last minute. I mean, I guess she was friends with Batista's daughter, so she wanted to help save her is my thinking, but it's so they could have had a line "Oh, go save your daughter. You need to." That would have been fine. It was just such a frustrating movie. Anyway.
Okay, well, what about your favorite part of this movie? The setup with the chainsaw.
Dude, what was going? Why did they do that? So they think, introduce the awesome scene at the beginning where he's just chainsawing guys at the intro. It's this guy's gonna be a badass. That's his weapon. That's classic zombie movie trope. Dead Rising does it. You have your weapon. That's I think there's a sequence in the original Dawn of the Dead where they're all getting their weapons in the mall. Anyway, fine. If they just had him doing that for the intro, it's okay. But no, they bring it up again. He's getting ready for his intro scene. He drives out to the desert. He has it buried in a barrel. Digs. Oh, he pulls it. Oh. Awesome. Okay, he's gonna use this. This is sick. And then boom, another scene later. Don't touch
my chainsaw.
Don't touch his chainsaw. The asshole guy picks up his chainsaw and he's like, "Don't touch my chainsaw ever again." He's carrying it. Then this was me misunderstanding because I know they need the gas for the helicopter, but I thought they had the gas on the back. I'm like, "Oh, that's gas for his chainsaw." And I was like, "That's why they're all carrying the gas so he can use the chainsaw." That was what I was thinking. But no, that's not it either. That's just for the helicopter. And then and then it's not really in it again. I don't even think the black guy really even fights any zombies, really.
Yeah, he fights the one main zombie and it beats him up, but that's it.
Well, that's at the end. At the end. But until that point, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
I don't think. Maybe he shoots some bullets. I don't know. And then the blonde girl ends up getting the chainsaw to cut through the gate. That's the only time it's used. And that doesn't even matter. They could have just had anything else happen.
And they set that's another failure where they set that up too, because the guy, the spy guy, gives a key card to the German guy. He's like, "Oh, JK, that's mine, and then this is your card." So then they show him swipe his card to unlock that grate to get out. So I'm like, "Oh, the German guy has another key. He must have forgot about it. So now the German guy can go swipe his key." Nope, that was just another pointless thing that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's just there's so many just dumb little things that were just not needed, and they had so many opportunities for setup and payoff, and they miss all of them.
This could have been a really good movie. The action, I really liked the action. It was over the top gore. I liked that everyone just got headshots all the time. I just love it. It's like a video game. It's cool. I don't care if it's realistic or not. It's cool just watching all the zombies just get mowed down all the time.
But there's so little action. There's the action scene. Besides the intro, there's the action scene where the zombies are kind of asleep, which is intense. There's the action scene where they're trying to open the safe. And then the zombies come, at the end. And then there's the scene where they're running through the casino. And then there's the big finish ending with the alpha and stuff.
Which the big finish one's hardly even an action.
Yeah, and then I guess there's the tiger scene, which is cool. It's like 5 action scenes, but they're pretty short. Like they're not like the sleeping zombie one's the big one.
Yeah.
And then when they're running away, that's another big one. But like it was so boring. It's a 2.5 hour long movie, and like the intro sets it up like it's gonna be nonstop gore, silly kind of gags. Like it's gonna be a lot.
Oh,
of action
I liked the non-lethal traps at the safe. That was a good scene.
Yeah, that scene was. I did like that scene. That was good. But still, like it was just such a disappointment for me. Not even the fact that it just wasn't that gory or not that much action. It was just like the characters just suck.
Yeah, like if the characters are interesting, then that makes up for the lack of action. So it's like it's not that big of a deal anymore. If you're like are fine watching the characters interact with each other, but it wasn't interesting watching the characters interact.
No, it was not at all.
I didn't want to watch Batista and his shit daughter.
Yeah, and you knew that was
no
coming.
wonder he didn't hang out with her for 2 years. I wouldn't want to hang out with her either.
Yeah, and it's like, were they not expecting you? Like, you knew that was going to happen. You knew she was going to, like, they didn't bother to look for her at all during the movie. They didn't do anything to help find her until the very end. So, of course, the daughter's going to run away last minute. Like, what were they thinking? That it was just silly.
And then it's so funny, too, because they make such a big deal about saving that lady, and then she just dies in the helicopter crash, but they don't show it. The daughter doesn't acknowledge it. Like, she's just, like, kind of gone from the movie.
I know. It's
like, they at least showed the pilot dead. They didn't even show the other girl dead, I don't think.
I don't think they did either. Like,
yeah.
I mean...
It's such a big deal that, like, it basically got her dad killed.
That's why I'm thinking it must have just been a side plot that they kind of threw in later after they already filmed the movie and added it in, and they didn't have footage of her on the plane crash or something because she wasn't that important originally. Was there content that was cut that would have made more sense? I have no idea. This is bad. It was just not well done. Like it was poorly edited. The pacing was super fucked up. Like it was not a good movie.
I just can't believe it took an hour for them to get to the city. And that's not even like when the action starts. That's like when they get through the gate. So you still have to like watch the sexy zombie lady like crawl around for a really long time and like them walking around for a really long time before they get to the sleeping zombies.
Yeah. But anyway, to this movie's benefit and to like one of the things it did well, again, staying true to all the classic like of the Dead movies, like Land of the Dead, you know, has like, it's kind of talking about like, it's a commentary on like the rich and the wealth inequalities. You know, the original like Night of the Living Dead, even though it wasn't intended, it kind of like had that racial thing at the end where they shoot the protagonist. Diary of the Dead is like a commentary on stuff, and they're all pretty fucking bad, loosely thought out, you know, kind of social commentaries. This movie did the same exact thing with The Border. It kind of alludes to the border crisis, but it does a horrible job of it. It's stupid and doesn't even take a stance in it. It's just a thing that's in the movie, but it doesn't really make a point still. So like, staying true to the zombie tropes of a pointless fucking theme.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of disappointed when they sacrificed the one asshole cop guy because he at least had a personality. I would have liked to see him like freaking out and like talking shit and like see him betray someone at some point too because he
comes back as a zombie though at the end.
It still doesn't do anything.
No,
he bites like the one random lady, I guess.
Yeah, one of the ones they're trying to save.
But
well, yeah,
he had a personality. None of the other characters had personalities.
Yeah, he did have a personality. He reminded me of a very similar character to the Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Remember the one asshole guy?
Oh yeah, and
he
saved him at the end.
Yeah, he actually did something.
Yeah.
That's like a much better version of that character, and like someone who actually does something, has a point of being in the movie. Like, yeah, he sucks, but at least he does something okay. Like none of the characters mattered. None of them did anything.
Yeah, I mean, I found the moments that were supposed to be serious. I was laughing out loud, and I don't know if they're jokes or not, but I just thought it was funny. And I just want to point out too, grenades don't explode. Like I know that's common in like Hollywood. There's no fire in a grenade. It's like a concussive blast that like shoots shrapnel everywhere. So if you pull a bunch of grenades, it doesn't cause like a nuke to go off in a casino thing. Like I know that's a Hollywood thing, but this movie was really bad about it.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. But anyway, enough about this stuff I didn't like, because I can go on and on about the shit that was bad. But one thing I did really like was at the end, some of the explosion. I think it was the same grenade scene where they go off. They're like running in the hallway around the safe area, and then they blow up a bunch of zombies. And then they just like throw like a big bag of raw meat against the wall, just like bloody raw meat just shoots down the hallway. That was really good. That was hilarious.
Well, I like it when the zombie got smushed and then it like pulls apart and just like all the guts are hanging back and forth.
Dude, the gore scenes that were in it were really good. I wish there was more of it. You know, I'm just a gore hound though.
And then like
still.
in the opening scene too, when they have like the big big like machine gun, and it just like obliterates that one
Yes.
zombie, and it's just like and like the zombie's like already decimated, but there's still like guts like shooting up everywhere.
Dude, I wish there was more of that. I wish it would have gone and it took itself way too seriously than it had any business being. Like, only the intro was silly. The rest was pretty straight, except for like the German guy and then Tig's character. Like, what a disappointment of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
It's like he did not do a good job of balancing it. It's just totally setting up misaligned expectations from the intro. But I did really like the scene where the one dude gets fucked up by the tiger.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was super good.
That was like the only cool death scene. All the other ones, like, it's fine. Like the first girl who dies, like she blows herself up. How many other people blow themselves up to stop the zombies? That's like every death. Like,
yeah, it's anticlimactic deaths normally, and not interesting deaths. But that tiger scene was cool, and it went on for a really long time.
Yeah.
They did not shy away. Like, he just got tossed around like a rag doll. That was intense.
I guess I was kind of sad when the German guy got killed, because he was like starting to go into the vault, and then they grab him and pull him back out.
Yeah, but even that they didn't like. I feel like normally not that they need to be like over the top and show him getting ripped apart, but like he closes the safe and they don't show him die.
Yeah,
and I feel like normally in zombie movies when they do that, the character comes back.
Yeah,
but they didn't. It's like they don't show them die. There's always a ray of hope that they're going to still be alive.
I wanted like a Shaun of the Dead, where they just like reach into the guy and pull out all
yes, exactly. Like, did he? Like, obviously he died, but still, like,
he died when the nuke went off. But
and that was also kind of he just locked the guy in the safe. I mean, at least I was expecting that the movie was just going to end with the helicopter crash and the nuke going off, and they weren't even going to address that the dude was in the safe. I thought that was going to happen for sure. They're just going to leave it.
No, I thought Scorpion was going to come and like go to the vault to get the money out and then open it, and then he was going to be a zombie and kill Scorpion.
Oh.
But, I thought that would have been cool, but instead they had to make it like a 15-minute scene that you just want the movie to be over.
Yeah, dude. Same thing with Justice League. With like they did that post-apocalyptic flashback with Joker in it.
I was expecting one more. Yeah, so they had the pointless scene of him like taking the private jet and turning into a zombie. I was expecting another pointless scene of like the daughter doing something, like eating a lobster ball or something.
I thought she was gonna go to college, but then she didn't get any of the money. Like, I thought the dude was gonna give her some of the money that he got away with, but nope. You know what's hilarious? If they're gonna nuke the whole place, and then they wanted the money, the safe was intact still. It's the best safe ever. So they could have just waited for the nuke to blow up and then went and got the money then.
Yeah.
It was underground. Like, isn't it like...
I mean, if this was like real life, there's no way. But yeah, in the movie universe, it was fine. So...
Yeah. I don't know.
One part I thought was really funny. It was like Idiocracy, when it was like, and I quote the president, "It would have been freaking awesome to have the explosion on 4th of July," or something like a stupid quote like that. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, it's just such a disappointment. Like, the opening scene was pretty good. The action scenes are solid, but it's just, especially with he directed Dawn of the Dead. Like, I was expecting I was actually expecting a good zombie movie. I guess I should have known better when I saw Batista was in it, but like, still, come on. Like, it was just, even for Zack Snyder, Justice League, I was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't great, but this was just, I don't know, was he going for something serious? Was he going for something joke? I thought this was like a passion project of his. Like, it did not feel like a passion project. It felt like a quick cash grab to me.
Definitely,
but I don't know. Another thing that really, really bothered me, it was really bad at the beginning, like when they first go across the border into Las Vegas. The amount of close-ups when they're doing action scenes, like, they were so zoomed in on every character. The background was so blurry. I almost feel like they were just in post, they blurred out the background. Like, it was just nauseating how close it was and it was constant. It was like for 10 minutes. Like, that whole sequence of them sacrificing the dude when they shot him in the leg to the alpha zombie, it was just so zoomed in all the time.
Yeah.
Like, why was it so zoomed in? It didn't add anything. Like, normally you do that when you want to focus on like the characters and like get something like kind of impersonal about them, or like if it's a character-driven movie, like in Handmaid's Tale, the TV show. Use in this movie they just use it for no reason whatsoever. I don't even think it's a stylistic, maybe to make it look like more of a comic book. I don't know. It was just another thing that just bothered me watching it.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
You have like a bag and it has a zipper on it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a human head in the bag.
Oh.
And then someone switches the bag with like a money counting machine that's like heavy and square. Would you notice that those aren't the same thing anymore?
Probably, but if I've been chased by zombies, I don't know. But yeah,
But the head is worth more than $200 million. Would you take the time to notice?
I think I would notice. Especially that guy seemed pretty cool and collected the whole time. He seemed pretty focused on his objective. So yeah, and then that's the thing though. Like they started off silly. It's the same problem with a lot of like superhero movies. They do this. They have like kind of like a cheesy sense of humor for things. So then when key plot moments happen that are really stupid and outlandish, they can say, "Oh, it's just a cheesy kind of action movie. It's just a silly zombie, and you don't need. It doesn't matter."
Yeah, you don't.
There's not actually.
You know, it's not real. It's not reality. Yeah.
But there's not actually any jokes. Like the second half of the movie is pretty fucking serious. Like there's no jokes really.
Well, I mean, I think it's a joke when the girl's head gets turned around.
Yeah, but like still, it's just so dumb. Like they just sprinkle it in. Like I think that's just a cheap kind of trick.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just thought of something. So you know how you said you feel like everything was cut,
mm-hmm.
like stuff was cut. So when they capture the girl zombie with like the thing
mm-hmm.
in that scene. Why is the girl zombie there? And I was thinking about it. Like there's like blood on the ground, and the girl zombie's like playing in the blood on the ground. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's another thing. Maybe they put something there to lure her out.
I think they did, didn't they?
Did they? Or did I miss it? And then
I think they did.
Did they? Okay, maybe I just missed it. Mm-hmm. And then another thing too. They put like the hand in the microwave and throw it, and like, oh, the zombies are attracted to body heat or whatever.
Because they know you're alive, I guess.
Yeah, another plot point that's never like brought up or used in a clever way or anything.
Yeah, like that's something that they should have mentioned earlier in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, maybe they did. There's so much shit that happened really fast that they go really quickly through. Maybe there's some throwaway, zombies are attracted to the heat. Who knows? But again, it's not obvious, and like they just kind of throw it in there, and they should have had like a little lead up to it.
Well, it's like it's basic screenwriting. Do you know what is it, Chekhov's shotgun? Where
no,
it's like it's a writing technique where if you write something in, there's no point in writing it unless they use it later. And the example is like an author writes like there was a shotgun above the fireplace. I think that's like Chekhov's shotgun. And then in the book, they never use it. And it became like a meme in the writing community where like Chekhov's shotgun is like, why do you keep mentioning the shotgun above the fireplace if nothing happens? It's a basic writing technique, and that's wrong throughout the entire film.
Yeah, and Snyder's no Lars von Trier. He's not purposely doing film things wrong to break norms.
It's not like defying expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the first thought is like Funny Games, where the girl has the knife at the end of the movie, and then they're like, "Oh, it's a knife," and they just throw it over. That's because like that's the point of the movie, is that you're like literally just like watching people die.
Well, dude, maybe Zack Snyder's just a fucking troll. Maybe he's self-aware and he's purposely like disappointing viewers. With like all the things that have setup have no payoff, and all the things that pay off, like microwaving the hand, or all these little things that like should have been explained earlier, just aren't mentioned at all.
I don't even think it's that. I think he thinks he's like some genius, like world builder. He's like, I'm Game of Thrones, and this is the universe I'm writing, and I'm just so clever because my universe has so many clever things. Like, oh man, the zombies go to heat. They go to heat. That's so smart. I'm just the smartest man alive because the zombies go to heat. And like, oh man, if it rains, the zombies come back to life, because that's the lore of the zombie universe. This lore I've been working on. He's got like all these fucking diagrams with like red strings going across for all these lore things, and it's like, oh, the zombies dry out in the sun, but if they get wet they come alive again. That's good lore. And like, oh, if the big zombie puts his pee-pee in a girl zombie, it makes a little blue dust zombie fetus. I'm just so smart. I'm just gonna get Game of Thrones writers.
Oh god, yeah, it's just so funny with a movie like this. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's just a zombie movie, and most of the zombie movies are just so bad anyway.
Yeah,
like
zombies is like bottom of the barrel.
Dude, I just don't get it. Like Zack Snyder, just, I mean, maybe he's not super full of himself, but just if you're gonna make, like, I feel like he thinks he's like a Christopher Nolan type director who's making interesting film, but he's only making like genre movies, just kind of like middle of the road, and he tries to take them to another level, but like they're not. Like it's kind of like Fired Up almost. It's like Fired Up, but not self-aware. It's like it's like Zack Snyder's just
Fired
making,
Up wasn't a comedy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like not even that. It's like another level. It's like, oh, Zack Snyder, he's just making like American Pie movies, but he thinks he's like a fucking like David Fincher or something, but he's just making fucking American Pie. It's like, yeah, they're fine kind of comedy, dumb comedy movies, but they're not fucking great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, how can you like be as pretentious as Zack Snyder when Dave Bautista is the lead actor in your movie?
Well, it seems like he wanted to make like this was going to be like a fun movie, like kind of like one he cared a lot about. He's maybe been wanting to make for a while. He liked zombie movies. He wanted to make something silly, over the top gore, but like he still just can't help himself, but has to just take himself so seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I know that he didn't write the screenplay, but he wrote the story. So that's definitely why there's just all this lore. And I feel like the screenplay writers are probably like, oh, we don't need this lore. We don't need. He's like, no, we have to have the lore in this movie.
Yeah. Dude, it's just there's a way to do it right.
I have the Justice League universe, and I want the zombie universe too!
I want all the universes. Dude, what if you have a crossover between the Army of the Dead universe? Like, Flash opens it when he's running really fast at the end of Justice League, and then all the zombies fucking come out. So then it's like Batista has to work with the Justice League now. Zombie Batista comes back.
I mean, I would rather have the Marvel universe come into the zombie universe, because then we get two Batistas. We get Guardians of the Galaxy Batista and Army Batista.
Dude, what if this is just the backstory of Batista from Marvel? What if
Actually,
this is just
now
a
that you
lead-in?
think about it, like the super zombies did have like weird gray skin and were really strong and tough, and that's kind of what Drax looks like in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's got that dry skin from the desert and the radiation.
Yeah.
The radiation with the zombie virus.
He's gonna dry out,
superhero.
and then Chris Pratt comes and pours a beer on him and brings him back alive, because that's the lore.
That's the lore, dude.
And then the radiation from the nuke makes a raccoon come to life.
Oh, dude, this is making too much sense. This is making way too much sense. And Area 51's nearby. That's where some of the they get their spaceship
that's
from
where
there
the Green
too.
Lady lives.
The Green Lady, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I like this.
Is that all of them? And Groot. What about Groot? The most important one.
Groot. He was that little baby fetus thing that the zombie
They
pulled out.
plant that in a pot, and he turns into baby Groot.
Yeah. Dude, that was another kind of disappointing part. Remember they had that? So when he ripped out the baby fetus, like their meeting ground was like that pool in the bottom.
Yeah, I thought it was
going
gonna be like a battle arena.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do something. I think one of the guys got eaten there.
Yeah, the asshole cop did, but they didn't really show that one.
Yeah, that was it. But he came back alive. So I was as a zombie. I was expecting like a classic like Day of the Dead kind of like someone getting ripped, or just Dawn of the Dead, where they get ripped apart and like their guts and stuff come, or at least a cool battle. Like I was hoping like Batista
That
would
looked
get
like a
taken,
place for a
captured.
battle.
Yeah, again, to your point, there should have been a big battle arena. Like he fights the fucking alpha zombie in the pool with all the zombies cheering him, like to save his daughter. How? Because that would have
been really like the daughter's like tied up on like the diving board,
Yeah.
and then like all the zombies are around. Because I mean, it's not really setting it up, but like the black guy went to fight the leader like one-on-one. So I feel like if Batista challenged him, like it definitely, oh my god, that would have been such a sick ending.
Yeah, and they had set up for it too, because the one lady that Batista's daughter wanted to go save was like being held hostage for some reason. So they were kind of capturing people for whatever fucking reason.
That
they
would
didn't
have been
explain
so cool.
It makes sense.
It's
like
making me more mad now.
Dude, that's what I mean. This movie, there's so much setup that was not paid off. There were so many opportunities to do great stuff, and he didn't capitalize on any of them. Like, there's just missed opportunity after missed opportunity. Like, I don't think he watches zombie movies. Like, what is this guy doing?
And I feel like they didn't utilize Vegas very well either.
No.
Like, it would have been cool to see. Like, they were in a casino for, like, that one scene, but I feel like they could have utilized that. I mean, I don't have any ideas off the top of my head, but...
Well, but yeah, exactly. They could have. Again, that's why I was kind of disappointed. Remember I was talking about those close-up shots where, like, the background was blurred? Most of them, they were underground in, like, dark, poorly lit places. All the scenes were just dry fucking desert, and they're all close-ups, so you didn't actually get a good feel of what the, like, landscape looked like around them, because it's just fucking close-ups that are blurry.
Yeah.
So, like, I know it was all green screened and stuff, but maybe it just looked bad, but still, like, missed opportunities in universe
I mean, they already
and world
spent
building.
$90 million. Just spend another 10 to shoot a couple scenes on site. Like...
Dude, where did that budget come from? Like, the movie didn't look good. Like, it wasn't like anything special. It looked pretty like standard, like kind of shitty CGI, whatever, green
The
screen.
CGI I would say was above average. I'd say it's above average.
Well, I mean, the background stuff though, like, I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
blown away by like the stuff.
Actually, the helicopter at the end when it was like flying around, that actually looked kind of bad. I feel like all the special effects were just in zombie head exploding.
Yeah, I mean that part was great. So maybe if that's where the budget went, then good on you. Maybe that's why it was actually really expensive making those good gore effects. But I don't know though. Like Planet Terror had way better gore and violence in my opinion.
Yeah.
That
Well,
had probably not nearly as much
practical effects
budget.
and gore are always going to beat over CG. Like,
Well, I think they did use a pretty good amount of practical effects in this movie. It's not always.
I think,
but I
well,
think there
not
was
when they were
some.
shooting, but I think in the other stuff.
Yeah, in the other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I was just really kind of disappointed too to hear that they didn't have that scene because I know they're like behind the set where like the one dude's zombie dick got a bite taken out of it. That they cut that out of the movie because it was too vulgar. But like they had something in Planet Terror. Remember where the one asshole guy he gets bit on the dick and then his like balls fall off and it's super gross and graphic. Dude, they could have put it in. They could have done it.
Remember,
I know Zack Snyder wanted to, but he didn't.
Remember when the zombie sheep bit that guy's dick and it like stretches it before it snaps off? It was that black sheep.
Yeah, black sheep. Dude, I think that's the problem. Like he wanted to make maybe a movie like that for like kind of the gore, like hardcore zombie fans like us. But again, he's too well known now at this point, so he can't put it. He can't. It's beneath him just to stoop to that level.
Well, it should have just been a high budget B horror movie. Because now that I think about it, like having them fight in a pool and then like the daughter like tied up somewhere and like she's being lowered into like a cage with more tigers or something, so he has to beat the guy before the daughter gets eaten by zombie tigers, and then like sounds.
Dude, they never even. I still can't believe they didn't even fight the zombie tiger. Imagine if Batista had to fight the zombie tiger with the alpha. That would have been a perfect battle. Like, I mean, I guess that's not what he was going for. He didn't want to go that level of cheesy for whatever reason. But like, what's the point? Like the rest of the movie, it felt like a sci-fi fucking zombie movie to me. It's not like the rest of the movie's particularly good or interesting or like taking itself more serious. Like, why not do something cool like that?
You know what movie I felt like this was the closest to is that Wormwood zombie movie, which is like super low budget. Do you remember that one?
That's the one where they have cars, right? That
where they use
blood.
like the gas from the zombies to power the cars.
Yeah, but that movie has way better lore and way clever.
Yeah,
more
but
clever ideas.
that movie is like the better version of this movie. I felt like.
Yeah, or I would even say it's close. Remember that movie Doomsday, where they have to get in? It's the same fucking plot. They have like there's that city that's walled off.
Oh
so
yeah,
they have to go into the city. Then there's like
Yeah.
that scene where they're in the castle and they have to fight in the castle with like
Yeah.
the medieval equipment. I think that's a better version of this movie too.
There's even a castle in Vegas. They could have gone to the Excalibur Hotel and fought zombies in the castle.
Yeah, like this
That would
movie
be
is
cool. The zombies are there. There's like a suit of armor on display, and they put it on, and the zombies can't bite him because he's wearing a suit of armor.
yeah, exactly.
Just go
But to
full
your-
B horror.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this isn't just reiterates the point. This isn't an original idea. It's not clever. It's not anything new. It's just kind of a badly made, poorly done zombie movie that's been done before.
It's like if you just get some kid who's like a big zombie fan, and then somehow he gets $90 million, and they just let him make a movie.
Yeah, I think Wormwood was better because wasn't that Australian? I think or filmed in New Zealand, so they could do all.
Well, it's like
whatever.
a Mad Max zombie. Ridiculous. I think at the end, can't they control the zombies with their brain and stuff? Like,
I think so. That gets super ridiculous with it. But is that like sorry, I think I cut you off again for the Wormwood comparison. But
no, but well, another one. So I think I get my zombie movies mixed up sometimes, but there was a show, and I think it's called Z Nation, like Zombie Nation, and it's like the exact same thing where like zombies took over the world, but then there's like super zombies, and then there's like scientists that can control and weaponize zombies, and then there's like people with psychic powers, and it's like just super ridiculous with zombies. And I feel like that's what this was trying to do, but failed.
yeah, well, they didn't go enough into it. Like even with the alpha stuff, like you know how they sacrifice the one guy as a peace offering for the zombies. It felt like because then they even had that line. It's the zombies aren't what you expect them to be.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe they have feelings, they have a plan, they're plotting to do something, but then that's never explored again.
Yeah.
It's like they literally just for that one piece of plot point. We need to sacrifice a peace offering. I guess that's why they're not gonna kill you immediately. The alpha's leaving you alone. Like that's it. It's only to move the plot forward. It's like the same kind of cop out as like having there's no phone service, there's no cell service here. It's just kind of a thing. So like. He's trying to think like, see, if people are questioning why the alpha zombie's not attacking them, we need a reason why, because viewers are going to notice, even though nothing else fucking matters in it. There's a bunch of other stupid shit that still happens. It's like trying to put into the believability, but it's like, who cares? This movie isn't even believable at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, he's taking himself too seriously. You know he is. You know he's trying, but it's still fucking dumb. Like,
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Well, it's like we always say, you have to care at a surface level before you can care at a deeper level. So if you don't care about the characters and you don't care about the world they're in, who cares about these little intricate details that you are just randomly thrown in?
Dude, I don't even know what Zack Snyder cares about. Like none of, especially in this movie, none of it's done well. Like he's really bad at character development. I feel like. I mean, maybe the writers are, maybe it's not his doing. I mean, I don't know, but like Justice League, the characters fucking suck. I don't care about them at all. This movie, like, it had so much potential. All the pieces were there, but he didn't develop them at all. There's like, does he just think that's not what viewers care about? Like, does he only care about the action sequences? But there's not a lot of action sequences either. Yeah. There's not a lot in this movie. So what the fuck is he trying to do?
Yeah, it's not even like a Fast and Furious movie where like the characters are like a bonus, where it's kind of just like they're trying to get from like one action scene to the next scene, and like no one really cares about what goes on between, because the whole point is to get to the next action. This isn't even it. The movie's an hour fucking long before they get to the city.
Yeah, it's like he cares a lot about the world building, and he cares a lot about like these stupid side plots of like the wall getting across and people getting their money, and like the character, like he cares a lot about Batista and his daughter, but it's so weak. Like it's so badly done.
And it's not even like fake either. Like, you know how Pixar movies kind of like just throw in like emotional bullshit? And like it's very surface level, but at least it's like doing its job, you know, like you can see right through it, but you know there's a purpose to it. This one, it's not even that level.
Dude, this movie is like, I had pretty low expectations, and I was still disappointed by this movie. Like, what the fuck? Like, how did he fuck this one up? How did he fuck it up?
I mean, I've never seen Batista be so boring.
Yeah, exactly. He was a horrible lead.
I love Batista. Yeah. But they didn't play to his strengths.
He's way better in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I don't know what they were going for with this.
And he doesn't wear a shirt in Guardians of the Galaxy. He wore a shirt the whole movie.
Yeah, that was a big mistake too.
I wanted to see a zombie bite his biceps and its teeth break off. That's
he just flexes it. That would have been so good. Dude, he was just so underutilized. Like, there should have been more of him throwing zombies around and wrestling zombies.
Whoa. But he wanted to open a food truck.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
That was his character arc, is that he wanted to open a food truck.
Dude, even the whole like redemption of like his daughter, like that emotional story of him having to kill the wife.
That was so stupid.
And then the daughter having to kill him at the end now, like they spent so much time on that, and it's just I don't care about this.
I just thought it was really funny. They're like having their heart to heart, and everyone's just like sitting there in the dark waiting for him to turn the lights on, and they're just like chit-chatting on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, I was honestly just hoping like when the helicopter wouldn't start. I was hoping that when they got to the safe, just the helicopter doesn't start, the nuke comes, and then the movie's just over. But nope, there's like another 30 minutes still to happen. It was just so long, and it was just disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, would you recommend Army of the Dead?
I'd say watch the intro, and then as soon as the opening credits finish, just turn it off. Just leave it there.
Yeah, I was gonna say just skip to like. Watch the intro and then skip to like the hour 15 minute.
Yeah, skip to like when they start, like when you see like the zombie, like sleeping zombies.
Yeah. If you skip all that, then I think it would be an okay movie, and it'd still be like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it just didn't need to be this long. It was really its downfall. Like I think it would have been, I wouldn't have been as upset with this movie because, again, if you're not going to bother having interesting characters or good character development, that's okay. Like, you can brush over, like, Without Remorse did that, and it's just all fucking action.
Yeah.
But like when you have a 2.5 hour long movie, the opening sequence is like a cool action introduction montage about all these cool characters, and then you spend an hour developing their relationships and trying to get in there with no action. Like, it's forcing you to care about these characters and look more closely at them, and then they're all fucking shitty.
Yeah.
Like, if that's not your strength, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know, but yeah, I would not recommend this. I would say go watch anything. Go watch Justice League. Surprisingly, I'd say go watch Justice League, Snyder Cut, than watch this one.
I mean, I would say watch pretty much literally any other zombie movie. You know, most zombie movies are bad, but it's still better than this.
Yeah, even the really, really bad movies like Diary of the Dead. At least that one's only like an 80-minute movie, I think, or an hour and a half. It saves you an hour of time. Yeah. I don't know. I think there was actually a new Day of the Dead that came out not too long ago that was really, really, really bad. But again, it's shorter. It's still shorter than this one. So if I'd say just look up like Army of the Dead like gore and action scenes, and then watch those on like a YouTube comp or something, and then that's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah, I agree.
What? Yeah. So, any final thoughts on Army of the Dead?
I just want to reiterate how much I hate Batista's daughter in this movie, and I think that's if I got one takeaway from this, it's don't have a shit daughter.
Yeah, don't volunteer. That was my takeaway. Don't volunteer. You get everyone killed. Get everyone involved, including your dad, and then you have to kill your dad at the end. Yeah. I would just say again, one last point to leave you with. If you're gonna make a cool zombie movie and you have an awesome character chainsawing some dudes at the beginning, that's his signature weapon is the chainsaw. At least have him use the chainsaw to kill someone at the end of the movie.
At least one zombie should have.
At least one.
At least one.
Just one zombie. Like why?
Is that too much to ask?
And even if you introduce it as a cool intro sequence, if you're not going to use it, don't mention it another 3 times in the movie and tease you with it. Why are you teasing your viewers? What are you doing? Like, are you trying to infuriate the
Come on, Zach, you're better than this.
Step it up. I know you're better than this. I saw Justice League. I saw your Snyder Cut. You're better than this.
Zach,
Step it up.
Zach, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, okay?
Yeah, I'm disappointed in you, Zach. Do better. Do better. All right, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Be sure to like and subscribe and watch Fired Up.
Yeah, watch Fired Up. Please watch Fired Up. It's much better than fucking Army of the Dead.